Mr. Sir, is your gluttony really so great that you eat cookies from the ground? Moby Vick. I had to. My lunch got thrown. I was hungry. What else was I supposed to eat?
Put that cookie down! Now!
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. We're back into Moby Vick today. You are my beatus, my only beatus. You make me fatty, you fill my tray. I know you guys been waiting for this one. I can't wait any longer. Let's go ahead, let's get into it. Moby Vick 19, food fight! Yeah, that's the thing that totally actually happens in school, for reals. I ain't never seen it outside of a 90s high school movie, but okay. Hope you enjoyed the Jimmy soothing of the last entry. What, grab-ass day? That wasn't as soothing as you seem to think it was. That one always makes me chuckle, looking back. Pull up your mobility scooters, because today I'm giving you a glimpse of how the great food fight started. Yeah, I said, give me your cornbread, you peanut head, and he threw it at me, and I threw some mashed potatoes back at him, and there you go. That's how it happened, if it were to allegedly happen. We got the players. OP, Alistair 9000, 14 years old, of pure amazing. God, they grow up so fast. Slayer of Hams, Motherless Beastard, and occasional Dosasaurus Maximus. Google doesn't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, what is that? And they're like, you mean Dinosaur Maximus? No, I don't. I don't know what she means by that, but okay. Also, girlfriend of Magic Mike. Renegade Robbie, 14 years old, a pure incredible, my best friend and partner in crime, he who shoved the whale. Magic Mike, 14 years old, my boyfriend, pretty alright guy, yes, whatever, I kiss him and stuff, no big deal. Daring Darren, 14 years old, Magic Mike's best friend, Manda Panda, also 14, ex-girlfriend of Daring Darren. Oh! Some trouble in paradise. But she remains OP's best girlfriend. Mr. Sir, hey! Just my favorite. Not completely unimpeachable, but definitely my favorite. The man, the legend, middle school gym coach, Russian, keen nose for BS, crusader against the ham. And Miss Power, the assistant principal, no nonsense kind of lady, and Moby Vick. 260 pounds of 14-year-old ham planetry. 260 pounds? How are you not dead yet? And here we begin. Take my hand, and I'll show you the way. Yeah, I think I'm good. Do we have to hold hands? I think I can find it myself. It's fine. 7th grade is over. Summer has passed. Bro 1 and Snarky Mark have graduated college. They're not trying to make their way into the workforce. Bro 2 is still studying at college, which is in quotes, that's curious, and Bro 3 is navigating his junior year of high school. I am now an 8th grader, 1 year away from the hallowed halls of high school. 8th grade's pretty lit, honestly. Think you're king of the middle school for just a minute. This entry occurred spring of my 8th grade year. We are in health class with Mr. Sir, and we're starting our unit on drugs.
If you do them, you're bad, because drugs are bad, okay? It's a bad thing to do drugs, so don't be bad.
Mr. Sir, today we begin our talk on drugs and alcohol. I will play a video of a woman talking about her struggle with addiction. You will watch with rapt attention. Anything less, you will be jogging as soon as the giggle escapes your lips. Clear? We nod, but Moby Vick raises her hand, of course. Mr. Sir, so help me, if you tell me about your inability to run, if one word of that comes out of your mouth, I'll make you start running, right now. Moby Vick's hand silently falls back into her lap. Mr. Sir, good. Now I'm going to get the video. Man, this school's pretty big on videos. We should watch that Moby Vick PSA. I'll get to it eventually. Maybe on the stream. We did dig it up. I haven't watched it yet. But if you do miss the streams, I mean, come check it out, you know? It's 1 a.m. my time. I think it's noon Eastern at this point with daylight savings or something. Whatever. Anyways, that'll come eventually. So Mr. Sir leaves to retrieve said video, and Moby Vick turns around. Moby Vick, hey, this must be exciting for you, OP. OP? What? Moby Vick. We're watching a drug addict video. Maybe you'll finally see your mom. Not that you know it was her. She left before you could remember anything, right? Magic Mike. Shut up, you fat fuck! OP. Mike, it's fine. Vic, they only use recovered addicts in those videos. And last I heard, Mommy was still shooting up, so I guess our family reunion will have to wait. Wow, leaning in. Little kamikaze by words. How you gonna top this one, Vic? She doesn't know. She's not creative enough. Moby Vick then turns around, thwarted in her attempt to set me off. Mr. Sir returns, and we watch the video. Mr. Sir. Right, now, we're going to have a discussion. Does anyone have any questions about drugs or anything they wish to share? Moby Vick. OP's mommy is a junkie. Wow. Renegade Robbie. Do you ever stop? Mr. Sir, I've got this, Robert. Thank you. Vic. For all your protestations of abhorrence for exercise, I'm starting to believe that you truly enjoy our runs. Never change, Mr. Sir. You're so perfect. Why else would you continue to spew this ignorance in this manner? Not to worry, I will give you what you desire. Start jogging, and let's skip the whining. Vic gets up and begins waddling. Mr. Sir continues our lesson. Mr. Sir, OP, I apologize for what was said. OP, it's fine. She's right. Mr. Sir, would you mind sharing? Renegade Robbie, you don't have to. OP, no, it's fine. And look at Mr. Sir also turning this into a teachable moment. My God, he's got all the right moves. So OP gets up, tired of the constant mommy joke. I was over it, and I tell the story of my junkie mother. Got into oxycodone, which turned into the H. Last I heard, she's still out there somewhere, shooting up, etc. That is so rough, dude. I guess at least you have heard of her. She's out there alive somewhere. She still might recover, I guess. So OP then sits down and we continue the lesson. Nobody made fun of me, but Vic exercised for the duration of the lesson. I mean, that exercise is essentially like a drop of water in the desert, but you know what? At least we're trying, damn it. We leave PE and head over to the cafeteria for lunch. We're in 8th grade now, which means we get to sit at the 8th grade tables. I told you, king of the school. And you're a popular kid? My God, you are the untouchables. Basically, those are the best tables in the cafeteria. My friends and I get our food, chicken fingers, corn, mashed potatoes, milk, and a chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, just corn out of a can. They didn't even heat it up. Mashed potatoes, nasty fake. Put on your plate with an ice cream scooper. Standard school lunch. So we sit down and we all begin to talk. Nearby, Vic is talking at a really high volume, obviously hoping to be overheard. Moby Vick, I mean, what do you expect? Druggy mom, alcoholic dad? Of course she's a whore. That's why she slept with Magic Mike. I mean, 14's a little young, but I don't know. Kids experiment, especially the type of trauma OP's been through. It's kind of like, well, we kind of saw it coming. Now, this wasn't really a revelation. 14-year-old boys are not known for their discretion on sexual matters. I chose to ignore her, Moby Vick. I mean, it's sad. He's obviously taking advantage of her. That's what boys do with these whores. That's why I respect myself. I refuse to be taken advantage of. You're taking advantage of yourself. Or your stomach's taking advantage of you. And really, that's only because there's not a long line of suitors, is there, Vic? OP says, would you shut the fuck up? He was not taking advantage of me. Moby Vick. Don't you know it's rude to eavesdrop? I mean, you're bellowing like a rhinoceros. What do you want? Magic Mike. She's right, Vic. I'm not taking advantage of her. Just because the cardio involved in sex would probably kill you doesn't mean you get to be all high and mighty about it. Moby Vick. I could have sex if I wanted to.
Who?
It's really weird. It's giving me Stephen King It vibes. The crazy thing is, we all probably talked about it, but I'm so far removed from it now that it just gives me the creeps. Manda Panda asks, who could you do it with, Vic? Renegade Robbie, there's a zoo nearby. I'm pretty sure she could get into the elephant enclosure. Robbie's still MVP. Moby Vick, I could have sex with a boy if I had no self-respect, but I respect myself too much. I'll leave that to whores like OP. Magic Mike, and we're done talking to you. She's just gonna sit there and continue to bellow. You have to defeat her in some way. Come on, don't let it be this way. We all just choose to ignore her again. Try to continue our lunch. Daring Darren is eating his mashed potatoes with vigor. Oh, mashed potatoes. Oh. Moby Vick, it's 'cause her daddy hates her. If my dad was a deadbeat alcoholic, I'm sure I'd be pretty loose too. And he hits her. Poor baby. She's just looking for the love that her parents won't give her. So that good old bubblegum armchair psychology. Yes, I can point out myriad flaws in you, but I dare not look inwardly. So I can no longer ignore her. My reaction when I'll cut you. OP, shut up. Renegade Robbie, that's it. Magic Mike, what's your problem? Manda Panda, you are such a bitch. I can't. Daring Darren, in a fit of rage, has loosed a spoonful of mashed potatoes, and it hits Vic right in the face. Good aim. Moby Vick. With the loosing of the potatoes, Darren has now set something into motion that he cannot possibly stop. It is a food fight. We all begin throwing food at each other, at Vic, random kids. Everyone is fair game at this point. Load me up with more mashed potatoes, Sarge. We're out, son, and we ain't getting any more until next Tuesday. We're gonna have to try to hold them off with corn niblets. Then Miss Power comes in and she says, stop! Stop right now! Nobody stops. We are in too deep at this point. Mr. Sir, you will all stop now, unless you wish for me to intervene. We stop. Mr. Sir does not play around. The only one anybody takes seriously. Miss Power, what is the meaning of this? Who started it? In a show of solidarity, nobody answers. Moby Vick is nowhere to be seen. Oh, she started cleaning up already. That's great. Miss Power, I said who started it. Answer me. Mr. Sir, they're not going to say. You will all clean this mess up. We begin to clean it up. Vic is still curiously absent. Manda Panda, OP, you need to come to the bathroom now. OP, why? Manda Panda, just do it. Are you trying to escape from cleanup duty, are you kids? Double duty next week. So we slip out and go to the girls' room. There, in the girls' room, sitting is Vic. She is eating cookies out of her backpack. Mashed potato crumb-covered cookies. It's like that KFC bowl in the Patton Oswalt bit. It's like, give me a pile of failure and a sadness bowl. There you go. Slightly worse. But yeah, I called this one. I thought she'd be licking mashed potatoes off the floor. I guess this is slightly better than that. Yes, dear children, Moby Vick took this food fight to its full advantage. While we were all distracted, she gathered the thrown cookies into her sack and retreated into her cave to devour the spoils of war. Okay, but look, all I'm saying is if Lockheed and Northrop can do it, then why not Moby Vick, you know? Moby Vick spies us, and she quickly retreats into a stall with her treasure. At this point, Manda Panda and I have an idea. OP says, Mr. Sir, there's an issue in the girls' room. I don't think Miss Power can handle it. Can you go check it out? He stalks out, grumbling about his paycheck. Yes, far too low. Put this man in charge of the district, please. Mr. Sir returns with Moby Vick just a few minutes later, dumps the remainder of the pilfered cookies into the trash. She will still eat them, a la bourgeois beard. Mr. Sir, is your gluttony really so great that you eat cookies from the ground?
Put that cookie down! Now!
Moby Vick, I had to. My lunch got thrown. I was hungry. What else was I supposed to eat? You just wait. At this point, Mr. Sir is finally at a loss for words for the first time. But Vic is not. Moby Vick, I was just talking to a friend, and then OP and her friend started harassing me. Derek threw his potatoes at me, and before I could respond, my entire tray was dumped on my head by OP. Whoops. I had to find any food I could. It was all on the floor, but I had to eat. You don't get it. Yeah, come on, what about the conditions? Miss Power, her supersonic hearing picking up harassed. I figured as much! Darren, OP, Robbie, Mike, Manda, come with me! Mr. Sir, you're just going off of what she said? How do you know that she did not start this? Miss Power, I've dealt with these kids before. I know this type of behavior. God, Miss Power's just the worst. And she sees herself as the good person for this. Mr. Sir, did anyone else see Darren or any of these kids start the fight? In a show of solidarity, again, not a single hand is raised. Mr. Sir, with your only witness being a girl that we found eating dirty cookies in the bathroom,
Oh, you nasty.
I suggest you just let them all clean up and be done with it. Miss Power, fine! Nobody leaves until the cafeteria is clean! I don't think they can do that. Can they just do that? Miss Power storms out. Mr. Sir hands Vic a roll of paper towels. You too, Vic. Get to it. We clean the cafeteria, go home, reprimanded for our activities. It was actually pretty fun cleaning up after school with friends. This was the great food fight of 2007. TLDR, Mr. Sir notices Vic's secret love of cardio. I don't know, man. This one seems like a bridge too far for me. Again, something right out of a John Hughes movie. But I still enjoy the burns, the back and forth, the reading, the nostalgia. I'll tell you right now, even if this story is fake as hell, I don't care. I've never cared. Since the beginning, I've said entertainment first, reality like a very distant second. So go off, OP. I continue to enjoy the hell out of Moby Vick. And we'll get into the next one. Moby Vick 22, Hand of Justice. That's actually the name of a new comic coming out from ReddX Industries. It's about a superhero who bitch slaps people into dust. He has a really huge, like, brass hand that he uses. He bought it from a gypsy fortune teller's tent. Anyways, no spoilers. I guess these are two separate domains of copyright, so yes, I'll let you have it, OP. Post starts out, this is the one I think I've dreaded most. Uh-oh. This one's not particularly funny, either. If quote-unquote darker things, i.e. sewer slide or maltreatment, are triggering or anything to you, then I wouldn't read it. I'll put specific section warnings as well before things happen. I'll also put a short recap at the bottom for anyone who wants to skip. You have been warned. The cast list, OP, Super Dad, my father, single dad. We got Renegade Robbie, Magic Mike, Bro 1, 23-year-old brother, recent college graduate, Snarky Mark, 23 years old, recent college graduate, Bro 1's best friend and roommate. Bro 2, my 21-year-old brother, enjoying college life. Bro 3, 17-year-old brother, entering his senior year. Social worker is the high school social worker, and Moby Vick is 300 pounds of 14-year-old nastiness. She really gained 40, no way. I'll ask you again, how are you not dead? So, 8th grade is finally over. We're finally saying goodbye to middle school. And good riddance. Now we're gonna go be a small fish in a big pond. Summer went well. Saw my brothers, enjoyed some Vic free time. have entered high school, been involved with it for about 2 months. It was October of 2007. This is the entry that I've told you about. Here I will explain some of my family dynamics. No fat here. If you do not wish to read a backstory, then just start again after this break. We're gonna get some deep sadness. We're going long today. I'm gonna have to end this with a funny one. So here it begins. My father's an only child. My grandmother and grandfather were wealthy. They died before I was born. He was left with a large inheritance. For those who asked how things were funded, after leaving the Marines, my father did well for a while and was a good member of society. As I've indicated before, my mother got into oxycodone. This dependence turned to the big H, as it was more readily available. She left the family when I was 2. Unfortunately, she cared more about drugs than us. And once again, oofs of the biggest size. My father was great at single dadhood for a while. He had down days about my mother, but mostly up, and we never saw him at his lows during this time. He got fired from his job when I was 7. This compounded with his depression from my mother abandoning us and caused him to turn to alcohol. Soon enough, the norm for my father was to be out drinking or passed out at home. Luckily, my brothers were there to help and take me places. My father was always more hands-on with the punishment, but didn't really become abusive until I was about 9. At this point, he started to go into a more angry direction. This OP definitely has lived with alcoholics before. We avoided him the best we could. And as far as abusive situations go, it was pretty run-of-the-mill. Nothing particularly crazy. I mean, it doesn't feel that crazy because you lived it, but like from an outsider's perspective, I'm sure it was pretty crazy. Like I was 11 and my brother was 9 and my stepdad tried to hit me with a belt and he's like pulling my pants off and I didn't want to let it happen. And my brother comes up behind him with like this squeaky hammer and bops him in the head a few times. And then I ran outside, like hid in a bush without my pants on, 11 years old enough to know and be embarrassed. And looking back on that situation, a formative memory in my childhood. I'm sure that it has had some sort of effect on me, although I can't quite compute what it is at this time. I don't think I've ever told anyone that story out loud, but it comes back to my mind multiple times, so yeah, it must mean something. Anyways, when my brothers left, Dad got worse. Less people meant the remaining kids were more readily focused upon. He had only left me with 2 scars. The one on my back I already discussed from a belt buckle, and the one on my chest where he put out his cigarette. Dude, what? That's fucking hardcore. I understand making these hoes open the mouth so I can ash the blunt in it, but putting out the blunt on their skin or even on their tongue, that's horrible. Do it to yourself. See how it feels. It's not pleasant. It really is awful. Super Dad became very depressed. That's the basics of it. I'll answer here if you have more in-depth questions. You know, I think I'm good. You've really painted a picture here. Here it ends. Okay, good. Sorry you had to go through it. Even if it's dramatized for effect, I can tell that there's some real-world experience behind some of this. So, it was a Tuesday night. I'd gotten home from skipping school with my friends. Dumb kid stuff. Oh yeah, dude, 9th grade was the skipping year. Bro 3 was at a friend's house for the night, working on a project. Warning, if you don't want to read about that maltreating, then skip this dialogue. Sorry, OP, we're in it this far. Super Dad. Alistair, you come here. I walked into his bedroom. Super Dad. The school just called. Why were you there today? Did you skip? OP. Yeah, I'm sorry. My explanation is cut off with a slap. Super Dad. What the fuck is wrong with you? You were with him. Your boyfriend. At this point, he's grabbed me by my hair. Super Dad. Are you bagging him? Might have done the stutter a bit too much. I couldn't stop it. I just had a mini stroke. Also, dialogue over. Good. I break it up with levity just in time. Warning, if you don't want to read about sewer slide, then skip this part. Oh no, here we go. It's like back-to-back trigger warnings. Okay. His belt comes off and he went on a while longer. By the end, he was crying. It was strange. Of all of the things that I'd seen my father do, I'd never seen him cry. He finished with me, and I ran to my bedroom and locked the door. I cleaned myself off as best I could and went to bed. He didn't find me for round 2, so I went to sleep. At around 3:30 in the morning, I was jolted awake by a gunshot. Oh my God. I ran downstairs to figure out where it came from. The house was dark. The only light on was in my father's bedroom. I ran in to see if he had heard it too, and it was then that I found my father. He had shot himself. Here it ends. Bro, finding your own father's body? Like, how could you possibly feel about that? How could you possibly feel anything ever again? There's no way that one could ever come to grips with this, I'm pretty sure. So I called Bro 1 in hysterics. He called 911 and came over with Snarky Mark. Snarky Mark dealt with the paramedics while Bro 1 comforted me, checked my bruises, and called to let Bros 2 and 3 know what happened. I answered questions about what had happened. Bro 2 came from college, stayed with a friend. Bro 3 stayed at his friend's house. Bro 1 and Snarky Mark took me back to their apartment. Yes, the den of squalor that two 23-year-old bachelors maintain. I didn't go back to school for the rest of the week. Yeah, this is some low times, isn't it? We were given more food than we knew what to do with. We had a quiet funeral, just us and friends. We really had no other family to speak of. The next Monday, I sucked it up and returned to school. Yeah, Coach Steve, funerals are always sort of like that. No matter how long you want to sit in the moment and contemplate it, life continues to move on, and you gotta move on with it. I did lose my father-in-law recently, and this story, yeah, it's making my heart hurt a little bit. I won't cry, because it's over now, but I do feel it welling up. So now back to your regularly scheduled fat people story. Back in high school, I slip into third period math. Renegade Robbie hugs me. Renegade Robbie, you doing okay? OP, it's weird. It's really surreal. It's a good word to describe it. Again, OP definitely has this experience here. Moby Vick, what does it feel like to be an orphan? I burst into tears. Renegade Robbie, stay away from her! Damn, dude, just needless savagery. Do you have no heart? No soul? Vic turns around smugly. Class goes on. At the end, I talk to my teacher about what I had missed. She waives all my homework. All my teachers did. End of the day comes and we're in the hallway, packing up. My friends are around me and Moby Vick waddles up once again. Moby Vick, it's not fair, you know, that you don't have to do homework. Magic Mike stepping in front of me. Not today, Vic. Leave now, before I knock your head off. This really is like the pettiest thing in existence. The least they can do is give her cookies and no homework, okay? How would you feel if Beta Butterball offed herself? She doesn't have the self-reflection to even consider that, I don't think. Moby Vick says, oh, come on. Why do I have to do homework and come to school when she doesn't? Renegade Robbie, even you can't be serious right now. Moby Vick, what? Am I supposed to feel bad that her alcoholic daddy blew his brains out? I would too, if I lived with her. Oh, if anybody was ever asking for an ass kicking, now's the time. It's exactly what she wants, but I want to give it to her real bad. Right in the kisser, pow! Split her lips open, punch her until her nose is flat. At this point, OP is shaking / crying in a hurt rage mixture that I've never felt since. Renegade Robbie and Magic Mike look like they're about to squish her, but I stopped them. OP, look, my dad had his issues, but I love him, and at least he didn't walk out on me. Dude, this is all on display right now. My heart is tearing open. Moby Vick, if you loved your abusive daddy so much, I bet you hope those bruises don't fade too fast. They're all you have to remember him by. Oh, and those scars. I don't see how you can hold back any longer. Them's fighting words. It's go time. In this moment, I was angry. Angry at my dad and angry at Moby fucking Vick. I was in one of those blind rages, and I punched that whale in the face. I punched that ham planet in the face so hard that I broke her nose. I punched that butter beast in the face so hard that I fractured my own hand. And then I walked out, leaving her there. Just the one punch? You probably should have given it to her a little more, but yeah, I don't know how you can with a fractured hand, really. The next day, I came to school with my hand in a cast, and I wore it like a badge of honor. Yeah, next you could beat her with the cast. Moby Vick. You broke my nose. I'm gonna tell the principal exactly what happened. Renegade Robbie. That you made fun of her for losing a parent? I'm sure he'll see what a victim you were. Moby Vick. She hit me. She's still getting in trouble. Renegade Robbie. No, she's not. I was there, and I saw you open your locker into your own face. So did everyone else. She's not getting blamed. Renegade Robbie, staying by OP's side all this time like a faithful hound, saving himself just for OP through victory or death. Vic waddles off, knowing that this whole thing isn't gonna go her way. Robbie and I go to class. During second period English, I'm called to the social worker's office. Social worker, Alistair, please sit down. I need to talk with you. With the death of your father, I need to facilitate finding you a guardian. Your father left no will, no wishes for your guardianship, so it is up to me and the courts to find out where you would best be placed. Where are you staying now? OP, with my oldest brother. She got his address, phone number, etc. to come talk to him/me about the future. I don't see why this whole thing isn't up to OP. Why do the courts get to decide? Okay, whatever. It's probably gonna go fine. Bro 3 would be 18 in a month, so I was really the only one whose situation was in question, so to speak. She discussed with me that foster care or a group home might be where I end up. Dude, that's a fate worse than death. What? It's probably not gonna go great with Brother and Mark, but it's gonna go way worse in foster care. I leave her office terrified. Class is let out, and Moby Vick finds me. Obviously, her broken nose was not enough of a deterrent. She was still not content with my suffering. Moby Vick. So you're going into foster care now? Don't be too worried. You're already used to the beatings. OP, fuck off before I hit you again. Moby Vick, I'm just showing concern. If I were you, I'd be worried about what guys do to girls like you in foster care. But you were a whore anyway, so you'd probably like it. Jesus, Vic, when is enough enough? When OP offs herself too, and then Vic just looks at a list and crosses off a name and goes, one down. She really is just female Eric Cartman. The most evil person you could possibly imagine. At this point, OP says, I ran to the bathroom, threw up, and called Bro 1. He was at work, so Snarky Mark picked me up from school. I told him everything. Ever my champion, he took me to lunch, comforted me, and then drove me back to school. He parked and waited for Vic to exit. Oh, Snarky Mark's gonna keep his promise. You're gonna beat Vic to death in the parking lot with a tire iron. As she waddled out into the parking lot, Mark jumped out of his car and cornered her. Snarky Mark, hey, remember me? Moby Vick, Mark. Snarky Mark, you remember what I told you last time? Moby Vick, crying, no, don't kill me. I love that she thought it was really even a possibility. You're not worth going to jail over, Vic. Snarky Mark says as much. I'm not gonna kill you. Not because I don't want to, but because I'm not going to prison for filth like you. What the hell is lacking in you that you'd make fun of her father? Moby Vick, she's mean to me too. She hit me, and makes fun of my weight, and she dumped food on me last year. Snarky Mark, you delusional fuck. You did this because of food? Moby Vick. Well, it's true. I need food, and she knows it. Snarky Mark. Screw you. You're a sadistic little fuck. And if I hear you ever bring this crap up again, I'll stop caring about going to prison. Do you think Vic will obey Mark's wishes? 'Cause I don't. With that, Mark leaves Vic sniveling and drives me back to their apartment. To wrap up, Bro 3 emancipated himself, got his own apartment for his last year of high school. We still had decent funds left from Grandma. Bro 2 returned to college. He got a bit more serious after this. Couple less frat parties, more paying attention to his studies. The social worker called Bro 1 about me and talked to him about guardianship or foster care. Bro 1 told her that his sister was not going to a group home. He would be my guardian. Hell yeah, dude, as it should be. He went to court, filled out paperwork, I answered questions about my home life, there was an audit of the apartment, and the courts granted him custody of me. I moved in, with him and Snarky Mark. Well, it's a rough change, a horrifying change, but maybe it's for the best, I don't really know. Recap for those who don't wish to read about it, my dad was a maltreating drunk and he offed himself. I found him, Vic made fun of me about it, I broke her nose. Bro 1 takes legal guardianship of me. TLDR, I have the best brother in the world, and here is arguably the cruelest thing she did to me. So, sorry if this one was so depressing, guys, but I felt to know the complete story, it needed to be shared. I promise the next one is chock full of fat logic and general hilarity that you all love. Again, sorry about the depressing nature. Stop apologizing. You got nothing to apologize for. Everything's gonna be fine. We move onwards, we move upwards. Sometimes we stall out and go to therapy, so we keep moving onwards and upwards. But yeah, that one was really heavy, so let's get to some of that general hilarity, please and thank you, with the next part. Moby Vick 21, scientific! Oh, dude, it really feels like you're horning in on my shtick here, OP. Come on now. Hello there, boys and girls. Hello. Sorry again for last time's depressing nature. It's all up from there, though. Well, thank God, how couldn't it be? Today I take you into the terror that was High School Vic. The characters, we got OP, Renegade, Robbie, Magic Mike, Manda Panda, Bill Nye, my biology teacher. Bill the Science Guy. Silent Nerd, Moby Vick's lab partner, Science Whiz, but almost never spoke. Moby Vick, 350 pounds of cruel 15-year-old. Looked like this by this point. Oh my God, that's a hungry girl. And we must push forth. Around 6 months has passed since my father's death, and I was in sort of a weird place. Magic Mike and I broke up. My situation was too much for him to handle. I mean, no hard feelings there. He and I really did stay friends, though. We knew each other for so long, and we really did like each other. Yeah, they all come back for round 2, you know? But definitely as a 15-year-old, I would have no idea how to handle something like this. Even a couple decades later, I still don't think I would. Vic had continued her reign of terror, of course, increasing her already ample girth to intimidate the peasants to greater effect. This entry will chronicle the freshman biology class that we shared, but first, a quick glimpse into our first day of class. On the first day of biology class, Bill Nye gave us a small speech. Bill Nye's voice is kind of generic. Maybe Plague Doctor voice. Bill Nye. There will be no eating in this room, Moby Vick. But my sugars get low. I have hyperglycemia. I need to eat. Bill Nye. Do you have a doctor's note on that? Moby Vick. Oh no, the doctors didn't think I did, but I know I do. And my mom says I know my body better than some doctor. What? Yeah, what? Have you done a scientific test of some sort? Have you even tried to fix it? Maybe by applying leeches? Bill Nye. Then you may eat a piece of fruit if you feel low. Moby Vick. Because I'm fat? I'm not. And I can't eat fruit. It doesn't help me. I need real food. Bill Nye. Fine, you may stand in the doorway and eat. Just keep it out of my classroom. Look at you, Bill Nye, buckling like a belt. We're compromising the integrity of every single experiment run in this room. You realize that? Then again, it's just a 9th grade science class. On that first day, Bill Nye told us to form lab groups of 3. Renegade Robbie, Magic Mike, and I formed up. Manda Panda was still on vacation, and thus ended up partners with Vic and Silent Nerd. Sorry, Manda. Right, so back to 6 months in, and it's Friday. Bill Nye. Today we start our anatomy lesson. This means Monday we're dissecting frogs. You'll be working with your lab group, and you will be graded as a whole. Manda Panda. Hey, OP. Did you know I hate you? OP. I'm sorry, Manda. Manda. Fuck you. All 3 of you. Are you serious right now? I don't think she's serious right now. Robbie, Mike, and I snicker as she goes to sit with Vic. Bill Nye goes over lab procedure with us all, and school ends. Cut to Monday, biology class again. You expect him to remember the lab procedures over the weekend? Good luck. Bill Nye, grab some gloves and goggles. Sit at your table with your lab group. I will distribute the frogs. You have your sheets. You must find all the parts and put them in their designated section. Manda, this is disgusting. Can I be excused and, write an essay or something? Bill Nye, no, it's mandatory. So work with your group or accept the 0. Silent Nerd. I will cut for you. That sentence out of context is pretty disturbing, Silent Nerd. Somebody keep an eye on that kid. He said this with the intensity of, I love you. I will cut for you. Mike, Robbie, and I snicker at Manda, and she flips us off. Vic is munching in the doorway. She's never gonna stop, is she? Bill Nye. We are waiting on you! Finish up! Moby Vick. I'm not done. Bill Nye. Yes, you are! Please take a seat with your group! She grumbles, but complies. Frogs are passed out. Dissections begin. This part is pretty gross. Always kind of brutal. But hey, that's science for you. Suddenly, the lab group next to Vic accidentally drops their frog brain, and it gets smushed on the floor. Moby Vick. Hey, OP, is that what Daddy's brains look like? Manda Panda. Shut the hell up, bitch. Moby Vick. Go stick your finger down your throat, you bulimic freak. Manda Panda tears up. As we're about to walk over and casually shank her with our scalpels, Bill Nye says, less talking, more dissection. Focus on your own groups or I'm docking points. Really, Manda, that shouldn't affect you anymore. Throw it back in her face. Hey, maybe some bulimia would do you some good. I understand we're treating it a little flippantly, but Moby Vick treats everything flippantly. We all return to the frogs, and after a while, I hear Moby Vick again. Moby Vick. Look at it, Manda. It has eggs. Wanna see? Manda. Stop. I don't want to look. I'm gonna puke. Moby Vick. I thought you liked puking, you bulimic bitch. Manda Panda crying. Please stop. How was this more lighthearted than the last story? I got a lot of questions. This isn't derpy or fun at all. I'm about to avenge my friend, especially since we threw her to the wolves in the first place. Silent Nerd says, leave her alone. Moby Vick. What did you say to me? Silent Nerd brandishes a scalpel. I said, leave her alone. I told you, dude, that kid's up to some shit, dude. Watch out. Moby Vick. It talks. What do you like her? Think she's pretty? Hate to break it to you, but she would never date a freak like you. That's just Moby Vick's inner dialogue bubbling to the surface. Silent Nerd goes back to cutting the frog with vigor. Manda Panda is back from crying in the bathroom. Renegade Robbie. Bats? Throat or eyeball? Magic Mike. What? Renegade Robbie. Where's he gonna shove the scalpel? OP. I'll take right in the front butt for 500. We all take progressively horrible bets of where he'll deliver his death blow, and we start laughing. Bill Nye. Something funny. Us. Nope. Bill Nye. Well, let's get back to the dissection then. Yes? I think Plague Doctor voice fits him really well. And so we do. We all put the different organs on the chart and do the little diagrams, answer lab questions, etc., and turn it all in 2 days later. Next Friday, we're all doing a worksheet. Bill Nye's getting our labs back to us, moving his filing cabinet, when suddenly, Bill Nye, fie upon you, cabinet! He jumps about 3 feet up and 5 feet back. Rats begin pouring out. Dude, what? More bourgeois beard vibes. There must have been 20 behind that filing cabinet. We all scream and evacuate, and Bill Nye slams the classroom door. Moby Vick, my bag! It's still in there! Bill Nye, and it's staying in there until the exterminator gets here! Moby Vick, it has my snacks in it! I need to eat all day, or else I get sick! Bill Nye, maybe it will keep the rats busy! Lunch is soon, you'll be fine! You'll be fine! Moby Vick goes off and pouts. The exterminators came and discovered why we had rats. There were chips, candy bits, Doritos, and some chocolate chips, all behind the filing cabinet. Bill Nye begins to connect the dots. He knows what happened here. Yeah, I think we all know. Bill Nye, Vic, why are there food bits under my cabinet? I said no food in class. Moby Vick, how should I know? Why are you only asking me? You assume because I'm a little bit bigger that it was obviously me? You all love to bully it and discriminate because I'm a little bit different. Not a little bit different, Vic. You're a different species. Bill Nye, no! You're the only one who eats anywhere near my class. You said you had to keep your blood sugar up. Your seat's also right next to the cabinet. You're the obvious suspect. The accusation / I'm a victim went back and forth for a while, and finally Vic acquiesced. Moby Vick, fine. Bill Nye, what did you say? I said they're probably my crumbs. Bill Nye, I still don't understand how they got behind the cabinet. More back and forth, and finally, Bill Nye figured out what had happened. I mean, doesn't take a scientist to figure out, which purportedly you are, Bill Nye. Mr. Engineering degree in a TV show? Vic had been secretly snacking, in class of course. When she dropped a crumb or a chip, too lazy to pick it up, she just kicked it behind the cabinet. After a while, quite a crumb smorgasbord was situated behind that cabinet, and this attracted rats. Turns out those rats had babies, and the exterminator found over 100 rats in the ceiling and walls of our school. It's fine, they just migrated from the cafeteria. It's no big deal. Bill Nye, scarred from his rat trauma, made us all leave our bags lined up at the front of his classroom, and no more snacks were ever had inside. TLDR, Vic is the fucking Pied Piper or something. There it is, how Vic gave our school a rat infestation. I mean, we should think that this is quite fortuitous and be like, oh, there's 100 more dissection subjects. Get to work, children! The children, they yearn for the mines. It was a bit funny. It started out really dark, but I guess that's just going to be a theme moving forward. You're 15, the childish derpiness is over. It's time to get into some real weird teenage derpiness. But we'll have to continue it in the next episode. My wife made tacos. On the end card, I'm like a bourgeois beard, which I drew quite a few parallels to. Go check it out if you haven't already. Thanks so much. You'll enjoy it. Of course, always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Promise swears he